There are forces in this world that work against you, pulling you away from your purpose, your dreams, and your destiny. These forces don't break in, they enter through doors that you leave open. If you're not careful, they will invade your life, steal your joy, and destroy your potential. But today you're going to learn how to close those doors immediately. 3 specific doors give demons access to your life. If you don't shut them, they will take control. But the good news is you have the power to lock them forever and step into a life of power, purpose, and victory. Door number 1, fear, is the silent assassin of dreams. It doesn't announce its arrival with a loud knock or a dramatic entrance. It creeps quickly, planting seeds of doubt in your mind until those doubts take root and become walls that keep you locked in place. Fear tells you that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that if you try, you will fail. And because the human mind is wired for survival, it often listens to this voice. It chooses comfort over courage, safety over growth. But what most people don't realize is that fear is a liar. It's an illusion designed to keep you from stepping into the greatness you were meant for. Fear paralyzes progress. It keeps you stuck in mediocrity, whispering, stay where it's safe. Don't take that risk. Don't step out of your comfort zone. And the moment you listen, the moment you entertain the possibility that fear might be telling the truth, you start to hesitate. Instead of taking action, you begin questioning yourself. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if people laugh at me? That hesitation turns into delay. That delay turns into inaction. And before you know it, weeks turn into months, months turn into years, and you're still in the same place, trapped by a fear that never had any real power except the power you gave it. The only way to take back control is to confront fear head on. You cannot negotiate with it, you cannot ignore it, and you cannot wait for it to disappear. Fear does not go away on its own, it only shrinks when you face it. Think about a child who is afraid of the dark. In their mind, the darkness hides monsters, but the moment you turn on the light, the monsters vanish. Why? Because they were never real to begin with. Fear operates in the same way. It magnifies the unknown and makes it seem bigger than it really is. But when you step forward in faith, when you take action despite the fear, you realize that what you were afraid of was never as powerful as it seemed. Faith is the antidote to fear. When you focus on possibilities instead of obstacles, fear loses its grip. The problem is that most people feed their fears more than they feed their faith. They spend their time worrying about everything that could go wrong instead of believing in what could go right. But faith works just like fear. It is the belief in something that hasn't happened yet. The difference is that faith empowers you while fear cripples you. When you choose faith over fear, you stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I succeed? You stop seeing problems and start seeing opportunities. You stop holding yourself back and start stepping into your full potential. The company you keep also determines the strength of your fears. If you surround yourself with people who constantly doubt themselves, who make excuses, who talk about why things won't work instead of why they will, their mindset will rub off on you. Fear thrives in an environment of negativity. But when you are around people who push you forward, who encourage you, who challenge you to become better, fear has no place to grow. Imagine a young man who dreams of becoming a public speaker, but every time he thinks about standing in front of an audience, fear grips him. He hears a voice in his head telling him that he's not charismatic enough, not experienced enough, not talented enough. Instead of taking the first step, he convinces himself that he needs more time to prepare, more time to perfect his skills, more time to feel ready. Years pass, and he still hasn't spoken in front of a crowd. Why? Because fear convinced him to wait for a feeling that was never going to come. One day he meets a mentor who sees his potential and tells him something that changes everything. The fear will never go away. You don't wait for confidence, you build it. And the only way to build it is to do the very thing you're afraid of. The young man finally takes the leap. His first speech isn't perfect, but he does it anyway. And something amazing happens. He realizes that the fear he felt before was worse than the experience itself. He realizes that fear was just an illusion. Over time, with each speech, his confidence grows, and what once seemed terrifying becomes second nature. That's how you close the door on fear. You stop letting it control your actions. You move forward, even when you don't feel ready. You stop feeding fear with doubt and start feeding faith with action. You surround yourself with people who lift you higher instead of those who drag you down. And most importantly, you remind yourself that fear is not real. It's just a shadow that disappears the moment you shine a light on it. Door number 2, your environment shapes you in ways you may not even realize. The people you talk to, the content you consume, and the voices you listen to all influence your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately your actions. You are not just making choices. Your choices are being shaped by the influences around you. If those influences are negative, they will infect your mind like a virus, slowly eroding your confidence, your ambition, and your drive. Think about it when you spend time around toxic people, their energy affects you. They plant seeds of doubt in your heart, making you second guess your abilities and decisions. They tell you that your dreams are unrealistic, that success is for other people, that life is too hard. Over time, if you keep listening, their words start to sound like your own thoughts. You begin to believe the lies they tell you. And without even realizing it, you shrink yourself to fit into the small mindset they've imposed on you. That's how negativity works. It seeps in slowly, making you comfortable with limitations that were never meant for you. It's not just the people you interact with in real life. The media you consume also has a powerful effect on your mind. Social media is filled with distractions, people showing off fake lifestyles, spreading negativity, or glorifying laziness and excuses. If you constantly expose yourself to content that encourages procrastination, self-doubt, or mediocrity, you start to normalize those behaviors in your own life. The news is another major influence. All you hear is fear, conflict, and disaster. You will carry that fear into your own life. You will start to believe that the world is against you, that success is impossible, and that there's no point in even trying. And just like that, negativity has won. The truth is, if the voices around you are pulling you away from growth, you are letting demons into your life. These demons don't always appear as obvious enemies. Sometimes they come disguised as friends, family members, or harmless entertainment. They show up as people who laugh at your dreams, who always have something negative to say, or who tell you to be realistic whenever you talk about your goals. They show up as endless hours of scrolling through social media, wasting time on distractions that don't add any value to your life. They show up as self-doubt, creeping into your mind because you've surrounded yourself with the wrong influences. And if you don't take control, these influences will control you. So how do you close this door and protect yourself from negativity? It starts with being intentional about who and what you allow in your life. You have to take a hard look at the people around you and ask yourself, are these relationships helping me grow, or are they holding me back? If someone constantly drains your energy, discourages your dreams, or fills your mind with doubt, it's time to distance yourself from them. This doesn't mean you have to be rude or cut people off in anger. It simply means you prioritize your own mental and emotional health. You choose to spend more time with people who uplift you, who challenge you to be better, and who push you towards success. You also have to take control of the information you consume. Be mindful of the content you watch, rate, and listen to. Stop feeding your mind with negativity, gossip, and distractions. Instead, fill your mind with wisdom, knowledge, and motivation that empowers you. Read books that inspire growth. Listen to podcasts that teach you valuable skills. Follow people who share messages of success, discipline, and purpose. The more you feed your mind with positive influences, the stronger you become. Imagine a young woman who has always wanted to start her own business. She has the skills, the ideas, and the passion, but every time she talks about her dreams, her friends dismiss them. They tell her it's too risky, that she should stick to her stable job, that most businesses fail anyway. Over time, she starts to believe them. She convinces herself that maybe they're right, that maybe she's not cut out for success. So she stays in her comfort zone, afraid to take the leap. But one day she meets a mentor, someone who believes in her potential. This mentor introduces her to books and success stories of entrepreneurs who overcame similar doubts. She starts surrounding herself with people who encourage her instead of discouraging her. And as her mindset shifts, she finds the courage to start her business. It's not easy, but because she has removed negative influences and replaced them with positive ones, she pushes through challenges instead of giving up. Eventually, She builds a successful business, and she realizes that the only thing that was ever holding her back was the negativity she had allowed into her life. That's the power of influence. When you change what you allow into your mind and your life, everything changes. You gain clarity, confidence, and the motivation to move forward. But it all starts with a decision to close the door on negativity and choose growth instead. The choice is yours. Will you allow toxic influences to control your life? Or will you take back your power and surround yourself with people and content that elevates you? The answer to that question will determine your future. Door number 3, procrastination is one of the most deceptive enemies of success. It doesn't attack with force, nor does it make a loud entrance. Instead, it whispers softly in your mind, convincing you that there is always more time, that tomorrow is a better day to start, that you can afford to wait just a little longer. But the truth is, tomorrow is never guaranteed. The more you delay, the further you push your dreams into the future until eventually they become nothing more than a distant possibility that never comes to life. Procrastination is a thief. It steals time, opportunities, and progress. It tricks you into thinking that putting things off is harmless. But every delayed action has a consequence. The task you avoid today doesn't disappear, it only becomes more difficult, more overwhelming, and more costly the longer you wait. What starts as a small hesitation turns into a pattern, a habit of making excuses. And before you know it, the days, weeks, and months have passed, and you are still in the same place, wishing you had started earlier. One of the biggest dangers of procrastination is that it creates a false sense of security. You feel like you're in control because you think you're making a choice to wait. But in reality, you are losing control. You are allowing time to slip through your fingers, and with it, you lose valuable opportunities that may never come again. Success requires momentum. Momentum only comes from action. When you procrastinate, you stop that momentum before it can even begin. You trap yourself in a cycle of delay, regret, and unfulfilled potential. There's only one way to break free from procrastination: take action immediately. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start. You have to train yourself to move, to take that first step, no matter how small it may seem. The mind will always try to resist discomfort. It will always look for the easiest option, which is why waiting feels so tempting. But if you let that feeling control you, you will never accomplish what you are truly capable of. The key is to override that hesitation with immediate action. The moment you think about doing something, start. Don't wait for motivation, because motivation is unreliable. Discipline is what will carry you forward when motivation fades. Breaking tasks in smaller steps is a powerful way to fight procrastination. One of the biggest reasons people delay taking action is because they feel overwhelmed. The task seems too big, too complex, or too difficult, but every big goal is simply a series of smaller steps. Instead of focusing on the entire mountain, focus on the first step. Once you complete that, take the next step, then the next. Progress is built one action at a time. And once you get started, you build momentum. That momentum makes it easier to keep going. And before you know it, what seemed impossible becomes achievable. Accountability is another critical weapon against procrastination. When you hold yourself accountable, you remove the option of making excuses. Whether it's setting deadlines, telling someone about your goal, or tracking your progress, having a system in place forces you to take action. Discipline is the enemy of procrastination. The more disciplined you become, the less room there is for delay. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It is training yourself to move forward even when excuses try to hold you back. And once you develop discipline, procrastination loses its grip on you. Imagine a man who dreams of getting in shape. He tells himself that he will start going to the gym next week. But when next week comes, he makes an excuse he's too tired, too busy, or he doesn't feel ready. The next week he delays again, convincing himself that he needs to do more research or wait for the perfect time. Months go by, and he has made no progress. Then one day he decides that enough is enough. Instead of waiting for the perfect time, he goes to the gym that same day. He doesn't have a perfect workout plan. He doesn't have the best equipment. But he starts. And once he starts, something shifts. The action itself creates motivation. He goes back the next day, then the next. Over time, he builds a habit. And what once felt difficult becomes second nature. Eventually, he achieves his fitness goal not because he waited for the perfect time, but because he took action despite not feeling ready. That is the secret to overcoming procrastination. You don't wait until you feel ready. You don't wait until the conditions are perfect. You start where you are with what you have, and you move forward. The more you take action, the more confident you become. And with confidence comes momentum, and with momentum comes success. Procrastination will always try to convince you that later is an option, but later is a lie. The only time you have control over is right now. If you truly want to succeed, you must make a decision today, in this moment, to stop delaying and start doing. The future is built by the actions you take today, and every time you choose action over procrastination, you take a step closer to the life you were meant to live. These three doors, fear, negative influences, and procrastination, are the biggest openings for demons to enter your life and steal your greatness. Close them today. You were not created to live in fear. You were not meant to be surrounded by negativity. And you were not born to waste time. You were designed for success, purpose, and impact. Now is the time to take back control. Lock those doors, throw away the key, and walk boldly into the life you were meant to live. The power is in your hands. What would you do with it?